Hi everyone. My name is Zana. Welcome to Tech Education Talk, where we explore how technology is shaping the world around us. And today we're focusing on one of the most exciting and relatable topics, technology in education. As a student, I know how tech has totally changed how we learn, study, and interact in school, from online classes during the pandemic to using tools like ChatGPT for homework. Technology has become a huge part of our education system, but here's the big question: is all this technology making us better learners? Or is it creating challenges we need to be careful about? Stick around for the next 10 minutes as we dive into the world of tech in education. We'll cover the coolest innovations, the pros and cons, and even some fun facts to keep things exciting. So let's jump right in. Let's start by looking at how classrooms have changed over the years. Imagine this: 20 years ago, a classroom was just rows of desks, a blackboard, and a teacher with chalk. Fast forward to today, and you've got smartboards, online quizzes, and even virtual reality in some schools. For example, some schools use Google Classroom to assign homework, post announcements, and allow students to collaborate on projects. It's like having an online hub for all your homework. Tools like Kahoot make learning interactive by turning quizzes into fun games. Who doesn't love a bit of friendly competition in class? During the pandemic, platforms like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, DingTalk became lifesavers, allowing students to attend virtual classes. But even now, after returning to in-person learning, many schools still use these tools to share resources or record lessons for students who might miss class. Did you know that the first online course was created way back in 1984? It was called Computer-Assisted Learning, and it ran on floppy disks. Compare that to today, where we can take courses on platforms like Khan Academy from our phones. Alright, let's talk about something super cool: artificial intelligence, or AI. AI is everywhere in education now, and it's making learning smarter and faster. One of the most popular AI tools is ChatGPT. If you're like me, you've probably used it to get help with assignments or brainstorm ideas for essays. For example, let's say you're writing about climate change. You can ask ChatGPT, what are the main causes of climate change? And boom, you get a list of ideas in seconds. Then there's Grammarly, which helps fix grammar mistakes and improve your writing. But AI doesn't stop at essays. Apps like Duolingo use AI to make learning languages fun and personalized. If you struggle with Spanish verbs, the app gives you extra practice until you get it. Did you know that OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, also created DALL-E, an AI tool that can generate art from text prompts? Imagine typing, a robot teaching a classroom of students, and getting a digital painting of exactly that. But here's the thing: AI isn't perfect. Sometimes it gives incorrect answers or doesn't understand the context of your question. That's because AI doesn't actually think like a human. It's just really good at analyzing patterns in the data it's trained on. So while AI is a great helper, it's not a replacement for critical thinking. Have you ever felt like your teacher was moving too fast or too slow? That's where personalized learning comes in, and technology is making it possible for everyone. Platforms like Dreambox and Khan Academy use AI to adjust lessons based on your progress. For example, if you're struggling with fractions, the platform gives you simpler problems and extra explanations. Once you master those, it moves you to more challenging concepts. It's like having a tutor that's available 24 hours a day. In South Korea, some schools use AI tutors that monitor students' progress in real time. These tutors provide instant feedback and suggest study tips, making learning way more efficient. But here's a question: could this technology replace teachers one day? Probably not. Even the best AI can't match the emotional support and creativity a teacher brings to the classroom. Learning is about more than just solving problems. It's about building connections, asking questions, and having discussions, which AI can't fully replicate. Let's dive into some cool tech trends: VR and gamification. With VR, you can step into history, like exploring ancient Rome, or dive into a 3D human brain in biology class. Tools like Google Expeditions make this super exciting. Gamification, on the other hand, turns studying into a game. Apps like Quizzes and Kahoot add points and leaderboards to make learning fun, like leveling up in a video game. Studies even show it boosts student engagement by 30%. But there are challenges too. Not every student has access to laptops or Wi-Fi, especially in rural areas, which creates inequality. And let's be real, online distractions like TikTok are hard to avoid. A study found students lose 20 minutes every hour to non-school websites. That's it for today's episode of Tech Education Talk. We covered how tech like AI, VR, and gamification are changing learning and the challenges like distractions. Here's the main takeaway. Tech is amazing, but it's all about how we use it. Whether it's AI for essays or VR for exploring space, learning still comes down to curiosity and effort. What do you think? Has tech made learning easier, or are there too many downsides? Let me know, message me, or reach out on social media. Thanks for listening.